All right, welcome back, American political culture. All right, so what exactly are we talking about when we use that term? Well, political culture refers to the distinctive way Americans think about politics and government. So it's important to note that we are not looking here at disagreements between political parties and political ideologies. So we are not looking at Republicans versus Democrats or liberals versus conservatives versus libertarians. Rather, we are looking at the things essentially that most Americans, again, I know not all, but most Americans tend to agree on certain basic ideas about politics and government, and that's what this term political culture is referring to. So we have 6 examples, things like liberty, individualism, equal opportunity, free enterprise, rule of law, and limited government. And so we'll talk about each of those 6 in just a little bit more detail coming up. All right, so liberty refers to freedom. And again, the idea is that most Americans, regardless of political ideology, most Americans value freedom and liberty. Now, they might disagree about what type of liberty or what types of freedom are important. They might disagree about how to obtain that liberty and freedom. But most Americans have an idea that liberty and freedom is a good thing. So that, again, will be part of our political culture. Individualism is the idea of having personal responsibility. Again, there is some disagreement about to what extent a community has and to what extent the responsibility a community has to take care of others. But the idea typically, again, of Americans is that people are ultimately responsible for themselves. It is up to them whether they succeed or fail. We should have equal opportunity, but it is up to them individually, so they're responsible for themselves, for their family, for the most part. Obviously, we have some exceptions, like for people who are disabled or elderly and who lack the ability. Some ideological groups go a little bit further than that and expand the concept, but again, as an overall idea, most Americans typically believe in some degree of individual personal responsibility. Equal opportunity, this is equality of opportunity, not of outcome. So the idea is that everybody should have a chance to succeed, an opportunity to work, an opportunity to work hard, to go to school, to achieve something, to make money, to start their own business, to get ahead, to all those things, right? Equal opportunity, not necessarily of outcome. So the American political idea wouldn't be that the government should equalize the results or the outcomes if one person succeeds and one fails. We have the idea that as long as you both had the chance to succeed, well, good for the people who succeeded, and the people who failed, well, try again, and maybe you'll be more successful next time. Again, this is not saying that there isn't a belief that there should be some role of helping those less fortunate. It's not saying that, but again, that the main idea is to promote equal opportunity. Although obviously some ideological groups would go a little bit further than that and want to move us in the direction of equal outcome as well. Free enterprise system means that we have mostly a free market with some regulation. That might be a little bit generous to say mostly free market. We have a mixed economy in the United States. It is market-based, but there is definitely a lot of regulation. There are a lot of taxes, those sorts of things. So we are nowhere near 100% free enterprise, and most Americans don't want us to be 100% free enterprise. And also, most Americans don't want us to be zero free enterprise either. They favor markets for the most part, but those markets to be regulated. Rule of law is something we've discussed on at least 2 other occasions in previous videos. The idea, again, is that all people are subject to the law. So there is no person, no institution, nobody is above the law. And so that equality before the law is one of the most fundamental ideas of American government. And again, most Americans support the idea, the concept of rule of law. And I believe lastly is the idea of limited government. Again, from Unit 1, we discussed this a lot. The idea that governmental power is restricted by the Constitution, so we do not have an all-powerful government that can do anything it wants. Again, people are the source of power, and that government should be limited in its ability of what it can do. All right, don't forget, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Hit that like button for me if this video is going to help you at all. This has been a La Money production.